said Canada as a mediating role, because of course this is about mediation. And what came out was one particular phrase, and of course it talked about Canada's peacekeeping as a peacekeeping country, which is very relevant to what we're about, which is basically intercessors, right? But it also had one catchphrase which I thought was very, very apt and relevant, and this was the phrase, bridge building. So Canada is a bridge builder. It is one that tries to find reconciliation and intercession and peace. And of course that is, and it's almost like, exactly, Patricia, spoiler alert over here. She said it, that's okay. Queen of intercessors, it is Our Lady of the Cape. The miracle at Captain Madeleine was about, of course, as Canadian as you can get, an ice bridge across the St. Lawrence. And I don't think that's a coincidence. The ice, of course, is not a coincidence because we're Canadian, and of course, cold and ice and everything every year, but also the whole idea of the bridge, because that's our national character. So I think it fits very well into today. It fits very well into our culture and our nation and what it's about. And I think, and I'm looking really forward to 2027, PAC 27, Labor Day weekend, September 2nd to the 5th, the whole Thursday to the Sunday. We've rented out Lansdowne Park. So you're going to see a lot more people than this there. I hope so anyway. The whole stadium, the whole arena, 4 days. It's basically going to be Catholic Woodstock, but instead of weed, it's going to be incense. It's going to be amazing. That's how I push. I want everyone to keep PAC 27 in your prayers. I was sharing earlier how this is maybe if you guys don't mind the rain to stop, I'll give you a short reflection about that. Can I keep going for 10 minutes? So you all remember during COVID, how all the madness, we were up here, we were praying, we were interceding, we were praying for our country. And St. Joan of Arc, the little community that I named at the time, that came from an inspiration when I was flipping through my Facebook feed, and this book about St. Joan of Arc kept coming up. St. Joan of Arc, of all people. And I said, and it kept coming up. I said, Lord, do you want me to read this book? It seems like you want me to read this book. So I ordered the book, and it was by Mark Twain, of all people. Now, Mark Twain is not a religious person. He's a little bit even anti-Christian, but here's the thing. He loves St. Joan of Arc. He spent 12 years researching St. Joan of Arc, okay? And it was his favorite book. Nobody knows this, of course, right? But you know now, and he's been very plain about that. So I read the book, and it was like an autobiography about her, and it was so inspiring. I mean, that little girl, she was like 14 years old, a farm girl, and she led the nation, okay, of France to kick out the English who were persecuting the French and taking over their territory. Now, we seem to think sometimes that God isn't political. Well, that's as political as you can get, the French kicking out the English. But anyways, the whole idea there, as I was reading, I said, I was drawing all this inspiration about what's going during COVID, and there was a lot of similarities, and I was being able to apply what she went through, what we were going through as a country. But I said, there's something else here. And a few months ago, I was sitting at my friend, the gentleman who's organizing this whole thing that I'm helping, and I said, what are we going to do here? Now everything's been approved. It's a go-ahead. We got the church's approval from Rome, the Canadian bishops, the United States bishops, and even our local bishop. He was the last piece to fall. And here's the thing. So I said, okay, Dennis, what are we going to do here? This is a go. This is going to cost a lot of money. And what's going to be the main event? And as soon as I said that, what came out of my mouth? A crowning. We're going to crown Our Lady of the Cape at Lansdowne Park. Because Lansdowne Park will be the 80th anniversary since she was consecrated here. And get this. So I said this. It just came out of my mouth. I said this, and then as soon as I said it, I went back to the book that I read about St. Joan of Arc, and then I realized the significance. You see, St. Joan of Arc's role was to get the king, the Dauphin, where? To Reims, the cathedral, and have him what? Crowned. Because only at that point did the country turn around and were able to kick the English out. And you know what? That's what's going to happen in this country. When we get Our Lady to Lansdowne Park and have her crowned as the queen of this country, we will turn around as a country, and we hopefully will be a beacon of light for the rest of the world. God has a hand on this country. I ask and I plead with all of you to keep this intention. We have 2 years, or less than 2 years now, because it's already November, to plan this thing, and we need to be all prayed up so we can draw. We need a lot of people to come to this. We need to make it a spectacle, and there's a place for everyone. Yes, that's right. We're going to need a lot of volunteers, but the most important thing is the prayers. We need the prayers. The prayers is what gives us the cover to make everything happen, and for the Lord to bring the people He needs to bring to make this a success.
She'll make it happen.
That's right. But you know, it's just a little gang right here. We don't have to look for the powerful. It's all of us here. The little people, the people who have no power. The only power we have is the power of the intercession and those beads. That's the power that can bring down the powerful and lift up the lowly. So please keep that into your prayers, okay? All right.
Amen.
God bless you all. Thank you very much.
God bless you.